Imagine a familiar scene: the gentle clinking of cutlery, the comforting aroma of coffee, and the quiet satisfaction of a morning meal. For countless individuals, especially those who have navigated 6, 7, or even 8 decades of life, breakfast is more than just sustenance. It's a ritual, a cornerstone of the day, often imbued with a sense of tradition and well-being. A plate adorned with eggs, perhaps, seems a quintessential choice. Simple, wholesome, a time-honored classic. Yet, what if this seemingly innocuous morning routine, woven into the fabric of daily life for decades, is quietly, insidiously working against you? What if the very foods you instinctively pair with your eggs, the ones you've consumed 1,000 times without a second thought, are not only diminishing your immediate energy, but also, over time, subtly eroding your cardiovascular health, disrupting your metabolic balance, and even shortening your healthy lifespan? This isn't a sensationalized claim designed to stir fear. It is a critical insight derived from observed patterns in medical practice and nutritional science, particularly relevant as our bodies age and our physiological resilience shifts. For individuals in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, the consequences of dietary choices become amplified. The metabolic efficiency of youth begins to wane, arterial elasticity decreases, and the body's capacity to recover from daily stresses slows. It is within this context that certain common food pairings, when combined with eggs, transcend mere dietary preferences to become silent saboteurs, contributing to a stealthy accumulation of damage that often goes unnoticed until significant health challenges manifest. We are talking about everyday items, seemingly innocent additions to your breakfast plate that can morph from sources of fuel into catalysts for chronic conditions like hypertension, erratic blood sugar fluctuations, systemic inflammation, and even insidious organ damage. The goal here is not to evoke alarm, but to empower. It is to illuminate the hidden interactions happening within your body, transforming unconscious habits into conscious choices. By understanding precisely which combinations to approach with caution, you gain invaluable control over your long-term health and vitality. You will begin to perceive your morning plate not just as a meal, but as a strategic opportunity, an opportunity to nourish, to protect, and to fortify your body for the vibrant years ahead. So let us embark on this crucial journey, peeling back the layers of tradition and convenience to reveal the critical truths about what might be lurking in your very next breakfast bowl. Number 1, the processed meat peril: bacon, sausage, and the nitrosamine threat. Few breakfast pairings are as deeply ingrained in culinary tradition as eggs with a side of processed meats. The sizzle of bacon, the savory aroma of sausage, or the satisfying heft of a slice of ham have graced breakfast tables for generations, promising a hearty start to the day. On the surface, it appears to be a robust, protein-rich combination. Yet, beneath this veneer of tradition lies one of the most common and, for older adults, potentially dangerous dietary traps: the chemical alchemy that occurs when processed meats meet the proteins in eggs, especially under the influence of heat. The primary culprits within these processed meats are preservatives known as nitrates and nitrites. These compounds are added to enhance flavor, preserve color, and inhibit bacterial growth, extending the shelf life of products like bacon, sausage, and deli ham. While nitrates and nitrites themselves are not inherently toxic in their natural forms, the problem arises when they are subjected to high temperatures, such as those used in frying or grilling bacon and sausage, and come into contact with the amino acids present in proteins, like those found abundantly in eggs. This interaction creates a chemical reaction, leading to the formation of highly detrimental substances called nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are not merely unhealthy, they are potent carcinogenic compounds, meaning they have been directly linked to an increased risk of various cancers, particularly those affecting the digestive tract, including colorectal and stomach cancers. Medical professionals who specialize in geriatric care and oncology frequently highlight that it is not the rare indulgence that poses the most significant threat, but rather the cumulative effect of consistent, unchecked daily habits. A celebratory bacon and egg breakfast on a special occasion is one thing. Making it a default daily morning ritual, particularly as one ages, significantly escalates the risk. The damage, much like the slow erosion of a riverbank, builds up silently over time, often without discernible symptoms until the problem is well advanced. Beyond the specter of nitrosamines, this combination carries a dual metabolic burden: an overload of saturated fat and excessive sodium. Processed meats are notorious for their high fat content, much of which is saturated, and their incredibly elevated sodium levels. When you combine this with the natural cholesterol present in eggs, you create a perfect storm for cardiovascular strain. Saturated fats contribute to higher levels of low-density lipoprotein LDL cholesterol, often termed bad cholesterol, which can lead to plaque buildup in the arteries. Simultaneously, the exorbitant sodium content places immediate and significant stress on the cardiovascular system. For someone in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, whose arteries may have naturally lost some of their youthful elasticity, and whose kidneys might process sodium less efficiently, this is far from a trivial concern. A breakfast laden with processed meats and eggs floods the bloodstream with compounds that contribute to arterial stiffening, elevate blood pressure, and increase oxidative stress, a cellular imbalance that accelerates the aging process throughout the body. This relentless daily assault forces the heart to work harder, pushing blood through less flexible vessels, setting the stage for hypertension, increased risk of heart attack, and stroke, all before the day has even truly begun. This awareness is not about instilling fear or demanding absolute abstinence from foods you enjoy. It is about equipping you with the knowledge to make informed decisions. If eggs are a beloved part of your diet, which they can be, there are infinitely safer and more beneficial ways to enjoy them. Consider pairing them with vibrant, fiber-rich vegetables like spinach, bell peppers, or mushrooms. The fiber and antioxidants in vegetables help to mitigate some of the negative effects of cholesterol and support overall digestive and cardiovascular health. Alternatively, a serving of avocado provides healthy monounsaturated fats that are heart protective, while a slice of whole grain toast offers complex carbohydrates and dietary fiber that can help regulate blood sugar and promote satiety. These alternatives don't just avoid harm, they actively contribute to your well-being, supporting your heart and helping your body process nutrients more smoothly. I recall the story of Roger, a spry 72-year-old with a twinkle in his eye and a lifetime of stories from his military service. He proudly recounted his daily ritual, bacon and eggs every single morning since his Army days. He outwardly appeared robust, a testament to his active life. Yet, he was utterly unaware of the relentless pressure his arteries were enduring, silently working overtime beneath the surface. When his doctor, during a routine checkup, presented him with the objective data concerning his cardiovascular health, elevated blood pressure, and early signs of arterial stiffness, Roger was genuinely stunned. He had genuinely believed his steadfast morning routine was not only harmless, but perhaps even a badge of his enduring health. Like many of us, he hadn't realized how profoundly and quietly our daily dietary choices shape the very trajectory of our aging process. So, the next time you reach for those eggs, take a conscious pause to consider what companion you're inviting to the plate. Your body, an incredibly resilient adaptive machine, is perpetually striving to protect you, but it needs your informed partnership to do so effectively. 2. The refined carb catastrophe. White bread, pastries, and blood sugar spikes. There's an undeniable comfort inherent in a warm, buttery piece of toast or a flaky pastry nestled beside a plate of eggs. It's a sensory experience that can transport us back to simpler times. Early mornings filled with the aroma of brewing coffee, perhaps the cheerful chatter of grandchildren at the breakfast table. This pairing feels quintessential, innocent, even nostalgic. However, what remains largely unexamined is the quiet metabolic disaster this seemingly benign combination can unleash, particularly for older adults. The pairing of eggs with refined carbohydrates like white bread, bagels, or sweet breakfast rolls. On their own, eggs are a nutritional powerhouse. They are an excellent source of high-quality protein and healthy fats, and crucially, they have a minimal impact on blood sugar levels. This makes them an ideal food for sustained energy and satiety. The metabolic landscape shifts dramatically, however, the moment you introduce refined carbohydrates into the equation. White bread, croissants, sugary muffins, or plain bagels are stripped of their natural fiber during processing, leaving behind primarily simple starches. In your digestive system, these refined carbohydrates break down with astonishing speed, converting into glucose, sugar, almost instantaneously. Because eggs, while protein and fat-rich, contain no fiber themselves to slow this enzymatic process, that rush of sugar floods directly into your bloodstream with alarming velocity. Your body, in an urgent response to this sudden influx of glucose, scrambles to produce a surge of insulin, the hormone responsible for escorting sugar from the blood into your cells for energy or storage. If this phenomenon, a rapid blood sugar spike followed by an equally rapid insulin release, becomes a daily occurrence, it places an immense and unsustainable burden on your pancreas, the organ responsible for insulin production. Over time, this repetitive cycle can exhaust your insulin-producing cells and lead to insulin resistance, a state where your body's cells become less responsive to insulin signals. The consequences are far-reaching. Increased fat storage, particularly around the midsection, heightened systemic inflammation, a root cause of many chronic diseases, and most significantly, a dramatically elevated risk of developing type 2 diabetes, even if your weight appears to be within a healthy range. For individuals navigating their 60s, 70s, or 80s, the metabolic machinery is no longer as nimble or forgiving as it once was. Their baseline metabolism is often slower, and many may already exhibit some degree of insulin resistance without realizing it. When a substantial blood sugar spike hits a system that is already slightly compromised, its impact is amplified. The peak is higher, the descent is sharper, and the period of elevated blood sugar is often prolonged, placing disproportionate stress on every cell and organ. That familiar post-breakfast sluggishness, the irresistible urge for a nap an hour after eating, might not simply be a byproduct of aging. It could very well be your body struggling desperately to recover from the metabolic fallout of an ill-chosen meal. Furthermore, refined carbohydrates offer a stark lack of nutritional value. They are often devoid of essential vitamins, minerals, and critically, dietary fiber. They fail to support healthy digestion, provide sustained energy, or contribute to cardiovascular well-being. They merely provide a quick, empty caloric fill that leaves your system strained and craving more soon after. When combined with eggs, these refined carbs create a breakfast that might feel satisfying in the moment, but utterly fails to provide the true, lasting fuel your body needs to thrive. The tale of Jean, a sharp-witted 76-year-old woman from Florida, illustrates this perfectly. She adored baking and every morning would lovingly slice a fresh, sweet roll to accompany her 2 fried eggs. For years, she believed she was indulging in a harmless, comforting routine, yet gradually her energy levels plummeted. Her weight inexplicably crept upwards, and then came the diagnosis from her doctor. She was pre-diabetic. Jean was shocked, bewildered. She genuinely thought she was doing everything right. Her transformation began with one seemingly minor dietary switch, replacing her morning pastry with a bowl of oatmeal, fortified with seeds and berries. Within a matter of months, her blood sugar numbers stabilized, her energy returned, and she began to feel like herself again. The healthier alternative is remarkably straightforward. Opt for whole grain bread with visible seeds, providing complex carbohydrates that digest slowly, releasing glucose into the bloodstream at a steady, controlled pace. Better yet, consider bypassing grains altogether and adding a generous side of nutrient-dense vegetables or low-glycemic fruits. Imagine eggs alongside sautéed greens, roasted bell peppers, or a small bowl of berries. You still get to enjoy your beloved eggs, but you provide your body with components that support balanced blood sugar, contribute essential fiber, and keep you feeling fuller and energized for significantly longer. It is the kind of subtle dietary adjustment that requires minimal sacrifice but yields monumental differences in your long-term health and daily vitality. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please take a moment to comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. Your engagement helps us understand what content resonates most with you. And if you haven't yet, I highly recommend you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos packed with empowering information like this. Your support truly fuels our mission to bring you good content that informs and inspires. 3. The liquid sugar onslaught, juices, sweetened coffees, and liver stress. It is a pervasive image, one deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness. A perfectly balanced breakfast, often featuring eggs and toast, accompanied by a vibrant, sparkling glass of orange juice or a steaming cup of coffee. We've been conditioned by decades of advertising and societal norms to believe these liquid additions are not only harmless, but beneficial. For older adults, however, particularly those who are mindful of their weight, blood sugar regulation, or liver health, this seemingly innocent habit of pairing eggs with sugary drinks can inflict far more insidious harm than you might ever imagine. The fundamental issue lies in starting your day with a concentrated dose of sugar. especially in liquid form. Our bodies, particularly as we age, are simply not designed to handle such a rapid influx of simple sugars. When you combine the protein and fat from eggs with a sugary beverage, your body is compelled to process drastically different nutrient profiles simultaneously. The high fructose content found in fruit juices or the refined sugars in sweetened coffee drinks delivers an almost immediate glucose spike. This rapid influx forces your metabolism into overdrive, placing significant strain on your liver and potentially confusing your body's natural metabolic cues. Consider fruit juice. It emanates from fruit, so it must be healthy, right? The truth is, when fruit is juiced, the most crucial component, its dietary fiber, is almost entirely removed. What remains is a concentrated source of natural sugars, primarily fructose, that behaves metabolically much like soda. There's no fiber to slow down the absorption, so the sugar rushes into your bloodstream unimpeded. If you routinely sip this alongside a plate of eggs, mistakenly believing you're making a healthy choice, your blood sugar can skyrocket, only to crash equally fast. This sugar roller coaster leaves you feeling drained, mentally foggy, and ironically, hungry again far too soon, perpetuating a cycle of unhealthy snacking. Sweetened coffee drinks like flavored lattes or coffees loaded with sugary creams and syrups can be even more detrimental. Many popular coffee concoctions can contain as much sugar as a dessert, sometimes exceeding your entire recommended daily sugar intake in a single cup. When this sugary bomb is paired with the fat and protein from eggs, it sends conflicting and overwhelming signals to your body. Your digestive system is forced to juggle complex macronutrients while simultaneously coping with a massive sugar load, compelling your insulin levels to surge disproportionately. Over time, this relentless daily routine takes a significant toll on one of your body's most vital organs, the liver. The liver is the primary regulator of sugar and fat processing in the body. A constant barrage of liquid sugar can overwhelm its capacity, leading to the accumulation of fat within liver cells, a condition known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. NAFLD is a silently escalating health crisis in older populations, often progressing without any noticeable symptoms until it reaches a serious, irreversible stage. This routine also dramatically impacts triglyceride levels, a type of fat in your blood that, when elevated, is a significant risk factor for heart disease. Alan, a 68-year-old gentleman, shared his bewilderment with me. "I thought I was eating clean," he recounted. "Eggs and a glass of fresh orange juice every morning. But I couldn't understand why I kept gaining belly fat and feeling so sluggish." It was his doctor who finally illuminated the hidden culprit, the sheer volume of sugar concentrated in that single cup of healthy juice. Alan, armed with this simple but profound revelation, made a conscious decision to eliminate the juice, replacing it with plain tea or water infused with lemon. Within a few short months, his energy remarkably returned, and subsequent blood tests showed significant improvements in his liver enzymes and triglyceride levels. This isn't to say you must abandon all your favorite beverages. It's about cultivating awareness and practicing mindful consumption. If you genuinely enjoy juice, consider having a small amount alongside fiber-rich whole foods later in the day, never on an empty stomach where its impact is most acute. For coffee lovers, explore unsweetened options, perhaps adding a sprinkle of cinnamon, a natural blood sugar regulator, or a dash of unsweetened almond milk, instead of sugar or artificial sweeteners. Breakfast should be a launching pad for your day, providing sustained fuel, not a battleground for your metabolism. When you pay as much careful attention to what fills your cup as you do to what graces your plate, your entire system operates more harmoniously. Your brain remains sharper, your energy levels endure longer, and your heart, without uttering a single word, expresses its profound gratitude. 4. The hidden sodium trap, high sodium sauces, and blood pressure. Sometimes the most significant health pitfalls aren't the primary foods themselves, but rather the seemingly innocuous additions we drizzle, dollop, or douse over them. A quick squirt of ketchup, a generous dash of soy sauce, or a fiery splash of hot sauce. These are the condiments we add almost reflexively, barely registering their presence, especially when they've been part of our culinary repertoire for decades. They enhance flavor, offer a comforting familiarity, and can elevate a simple meal. However, when it comes to eggs, particularly for the aging heart, these seemingly innocent condiments can quietly and dangerously tip the delicate balance of your health in the wrong direction. The critical issue at play here is the astonishing amount of sodium packed into just a single serving of many common sauces. Most people are completely unaware of this hidden salt bomb. For instance, a mere tablespoon of regular soy sauce can contain well over 800 milligrams of sodium, nearly half of the recommended daily limit for many adults. Ketchup, often perceived as a benign classic, typically harbors around 150 milligrams of sodium per tablespoon, often accompanied by a significant amount of added sugar. When you habitually combine these high sodium or sweet and salty toppings with a food like eggs, which already contains natural sodium and cholesterol, the total sodium intake accumulates at an alarming rate, far faster than most people realize. Why does this matter more as you age? The physiology of the body undergoes subtle but significant changes over time. Aging arteries lose some of their youthful flexibility and elasticity, becoming stiffer and less responsive to changes in blood volume. The kidneys, essential for filtering waste and regulating fluid balance, also tend to work a bit slower, making it less efficient at excreting excess sodium. Consequently, the body doesn't process salt as effectively as it once did, making it far easier for blood pressure to climb, often without any overt warning signs. Furthermore, many older adults develop what is known as salt sensitivity, meaning their bodies respond more strongly to sodium, and their blood pressure can surge disproportionately even with seemingly modest salt intake. Eggs, in their pure form and prepared with care, can be a highly heart-healthy food, offering valuable protein and essential nutrients. But the moment we introduce high-sodium sauces, especially if this becomes a routine practice multiple times a week, we inadvertently create a scenario where our blood vessels are under constant elevated pressure. Over time, this relentless strain leads to chronic hypertension, contributes to fluid retention, and imposes an undue burden on the heart. Even mild, sustained elevations in blood pressure over many years dramatically increase the risk of serious cardiovascular events, including heart attacks and strokes. To be explicitly clear, this discussion is not about demonizing condiments. It's about cultivating a heightened sense of awareness. Most of us, when reaching for a sauce bottle, rarely measure out a precise serving. We simply drizzle, pour, or squeeze, operating under the assumption that a little bit won't hurt. But a little bit applied 3 times a day, 5 days a week for 2 decades accumulates into a substantial and significant dietary load. I vividly recall the case of Ellen, a vibrant 75-year-old who moved with remarkable spryness. Her favorite breakfast was eggs over easy, always with a generous splash of soy sauce, a culinary habit she had acquired during her adventurous younger years living abroad. When her doctor expressed concern about her steadily rising blood pressure readings, Ellen was utterly baffled. She meticulously avoided chips and fast food, considering herself a very healthy eater. It was only when she began diligently scrutinizing nutrition labels, a new habit she reluctantly adopted, that the insidious truth became glaringly obvious. Her cherished breakfast routine, a seemingly harmless daily comfort, was silently inundating her body with an excessive amount of sodium every single day. Ellen didn't abandon her beloved eggs. Instead, she embarked on a simple yet transformative culinary experiment. She switched from soy sauce to a diverse array of fresh herbs and spices: paprika, turmeric, freshly ground black pepper, vibrant parsley. Her food remained wonderfully flavorful, and remarkably, her blood pressure readings began to normalize within weeks. It was a subtle adjustment, yet its impact on her cardiovascular health was profound. Your heart will undoubtedly notice this lighter load, your kidneys will express their gratitude, and your entire body, especially as you navigate the complexities of later life, will respond with renewed vitality when you alleviate the burden, even in something as seemingly insignificant as what goes on top of your eggs. If you found this analysis valuable and are reconsidering your condiment choices, please let me know by commenting number 4 below. Your feedback is incredibly encouraging. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing to our channel and hitting that notification bell. This way, you'll be among the first to receive our new videos, packed with insights that empower you to take charge of your health journey. Your support helps us continue creating this important content for you. 5. The fried starch fallout: hash browns, fries, and arterial clogging. There's a certain undeniable allure to a breakfast plate featuring perfectly cooked eggs alongside a golden, crispy pile of hash browns or French fries. It evokes the comforting familiarity of a favorite diner, perhaps the slow, unhurried pace of Sunday mornings when the scent of coffee and sizzling oil permeated the air. This combination feels complete, deeply satisfying, and for many represents the epitome of breakfast comfort. However, the sobering truth, especially as our bodies mature past the age of 60, is that when starchy foods are deep fried and then paired with eggs, they coalesce into a meal that might offer immediate gratification, but quietly and systematically clogs your body's intricate internal systems. Hash browns, French fries, tater tots. These seemingly innocuous starchy sides are predominantly made from white potatoes, a simple carbohydrate. When these potatoes are submerged in hot fat, they act like sponges, rapidly absorbing oil. They don't merely become crispy, they become dense with calories, heavily oxidized fats, and critically, compounds known as acrylamides. Acrylamides are chemicals that form in starchy foods cooked at high temperatures, like frying, baking, or roasting. Extensive scientific research has explored their potential as carcinogens, raising significant concerns about long-term exposure. But even before we delve into the potential cancer risk, there's a more immediate and pervasive consequence for your digestive and cardiovascular systems. When you consume a meal composed of fried starch and eggs, your body is confronted with a formidable wall of unhealthy fats, shockingly little dietary fiber, and a pronounced absence of slow-digesting complex nutrients. It's a heavy, metabolically sluggish combination that significantly impedes your body's natural processes. Your digestion slows to a crawl, your immediate energy levels plummet, and even your circulation can become compromised. For many older adults whose metabolism is already naturally slower and whose digestive sensitivities may be heightened, this heavy combination often leads to uncomfortable bloating and persistent fatigue and even chronic constipation later in the day. The energy drain is palpable, manifesting as a pervasive sense of sluggishness rather than the vibrant, sustained vitality a proper breakfast should provide. Let's also thoroughly examine the profound impact these meals have on your arterial health. The combined assault of cholesterol from the eggs and, more detrimentally, trans fats or oxidized oils from the fried sides creates a recipe for cardiovascular distress. These harmful fats can significantly increase levels of low-density lipoprotein, LDL cholesterol, while simultaneously lowering high-density lipoprotein, HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol, and igniting widespread inflammation within your blood vessels. This cascade of negative effects means your heart is forced to work harder, pushing blood through potentially inflamed and narrowing arteries. Your blood itself can become stickier, increasing the risk of clots. Over time, the insidious process of plaque buildup in the arteries accelerates, silently yet steadily elevating your risk of developing atherosclerosis, experiencing a stroke, or suffering a heart attack, even if your external weight appears stable. The story of Charles, an 84-year-old retired mechanic, is a poignant illustration of this quiet danger. Charles was a man full of captivating stories, a living testament to a life lived fully. He had habitually eaten eggs and home fries every morning, a ritual that powerfully reminded him of his younger years toiling during early shifts in the garage. His belief was that this hearty meal fueled him. However, during a routine medical examination, his doctor presented him with alarming blood markers. Triglyceride levels were alarmingly through the roof, and his liver enzymes indicated significant strain. Charles, determined to reclaim his health, made one seemingly minor but ultimately transformative dietary shift. He replaced his fried potatoes with a generous serving of oven-roasted vegetables. Within 6 months, the change was nothing short of remarkable. His energy levels soared. He found he could walk significantly farther without exertion. His breathing felt easier and deeper, and he even remarked on a newfound clarity of thought. The core issue here is not the potato itself. The humble potato, in its natural state, is a nutritious root vegetable. The problem lies squarely in how it is prepared and what it is paired with. If you enjoy a starchy component in your morning meal, consider switching to healthier preparation methods. Steamed or oven-roasted sweet potatoes offer a wealth of vitamins, minerals, and complex carbohydrates that digest slowly. Adding some vibrant greens or other non-starchy vegetables on the side further enhances the nutritional profile. Keep the eggs by all means, but consciously bypass the frying pan soaked in oil. You will still enjoy a satisfying meal, but you'll also be providing your body with essential nutrients it can actually utilize to support your muscles, brain, and heart, rather than burdening it with inflammatory and artery-clogging compounds. Small, seemingly insignificant daily habits, meticulously repeated over time, are the invisible architects of the body we inhabit. And the older we become, the more profoundly these subtle choices accumulate, either propelling us towards enduring strength, unwavering clarity, and vibrant health, or subtly nudging us towards pervasive fatigue, heightened risk of chronic disease, and diminished vitality. Do not allow a comforting, traditional plate to be the silent reason your body feels weighed down, sluggish, or compromised. There are unequivocally better, more nourishing ways to start your day, ways that are not a radical departure from your current routine, but rather a smarter, lighter, and infinitely kinder approach to nurturing the you of tomorrow. As we conclude this journey through the subtle complexities of your morning plate, you've likely found yourself taking a closer, perhaps even astonished, look at habits you once considered beyond reproach. This is the profound power of awareness, a potent tool that transcends mere information to become a catalyst for transformative action. It is not about succumbing to guilt over past choices, but about equipping yourself with the knowledge and actionable insights to remain sharp, energized, and firmly in control of your health, even as the magnificent tapestry of years continues to unfold. Which of these 5 common pairings, often masked by tradition and convenience, surprised you the most? Have you ever, perhaps inadvertently, poured that glass of seemingly wholesome juice alongside your eggs, or liberally sprinkled a little too much ketchup without a second thought? These moments are not failures or mistakes. They are, in fact, invaluable opportunities. Each small conscious adjustment you choose to make is a quiet yet profound promise to your future self, a testament that you are still paying attention, still actively learning, and still diligently building a stronger, more resilient body with every thoughtful meal. When we are in the vibrant bloom of our 20s or 30s, our bodies possess an extraordinary resilience, a remarkable capacity to bounce back from almost anything. The youthful metabolism forgives many dietary indiscretions, and the flexible arteries shrug off temporary stressors with ease. However, as we gracefully enter our 60s, 70s, and 80s, every single bite begins to count just a little bit more. Your digestion may naturally slow, your blood vessels may become less pliable, and your body undeniably requires a longer recovery period from the very things it once brushed off effortlessly. This isn't a flaw in your being, it is simply the wise, natural progression of aging. Yet here lies the extraordinary good news. Your body, with its innate wisdom, also responds with remarkable clarity and gratitude to better choices. Swap that sugary drink for a refreshing herbal tea or a glass of water infused with lemon. Trade that heavy fried potato side for a vibrant serving of oven-roasted squash or nutrient-dense steamed greens. Embrace the rich tapestry of fresh herbs and invigorating spices to flavor your meals instead of relying on excessive salt. These are not grand, overwhelming sacrifices. They are gentle, intelligent shifts that have the power to infuse your mornings with renewed energy, bring astonishing clarity to your mind, and bestow a comforting ease upon your joints. The pursuit of health is never about unattainable perfection. It is about cultivating momentum. The more consistently you choose what genuinely supports your physiological well-being, the more profoundly your body will thank you in countless tangible ways that you will feel every single day. Whether it manifests as deeper, more restorative sleep, steadier and more reliable energy throughout the day, improved and more comfortable digestion, or clearer, more reassuring blood work results. Remember, it is all interconnected, a symphony of well-being where every choice plays a vital note. Thank you for dedicating your time and attention to this crucial conversation today. We are genuinely eager to hear from you. Please take a moment to leave a comment below and share just one thing you learned from this comprehensive analysis and how you plan to integrate it into your daily life. Your thoughts, your experiences, and your proactive steps are immensely important to us. And reading your comments provides us with immeasurable motivation and encouragement to continue this work. If you found this video insightful, empowering, and helpful, please consider showing your support by hitting the like button, subscribing to our channel, and sharing this valuable information with those you care about. Your generous support is the bedrock upon which we continue to create content designed to inform, inspire, and elevate your health journey. Thank you for watching, and we eagerly look forward to connecting with you in our next video.